Okay, guys, so I have something a little bit different today. My buddy Sensei Seth, we were talking about a couple of different concepts back and forth. I was showing him over on his channel some neon belly drills, and because he's obviously primarily a standing striking stylist, his kicks are phenomenal. That's what he's known for. So he's going to show some stuff today that is going to be a little bit more, I don't want to say unconventional, but something that's kind of outside the box. I think that if we're talking about looking at how to go from this long range to our clinch range, like we like to get in jiu-jitsu a lot of times, we want to crash those ranges, get that clinch, maybe make the takedown. Using kicks to set that up might be tricky, especially if your kicks suck. So he's going to show us some more technical kind of ways to close that distance, maybe with some kicks in the mid-range there.
Yeah, right. I'm all about the options. You got to have options when you're doing stuff. One of the best ways to have options is to be able to have your leg go higher than other people's legs. So when that leg comes up there, somebody just like freaks out. Even if it's for a split second, we can use that.
Right.
So a lot of people, especially for self-defense purposes, kind of have a more square to the opponent stance, where I keep something like this. So what I've been working on is something that I can shoot in really well with, but then also keep more eyes and targets, more eyes and devices of destruction in front of me and able to hit stuff with, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to work on an outside crescent kick, which I know is difficult, okay? But what we're trying to do is either bring the hands up or even pull the hands down with the foot. So if I've got this here, I'm going to throw an outside crescent kick, which goes like this. Knee, up and out.
Okay,
so literally I'm going to use the momentum of me throwing this knee up high and then flick my foot at the end like you do a roundhouse, like that. And then at the same time, at the very end of it, I'm going to go like this, boop, with my hips. Boom.
Okay,
So
and you're laying in the same stance as you began in.
Yeah, same stance as I began, because I don't want to have to like switch anything. I teach everything where like you have to be able to do it 0 to 100 in order for you to like repeat it a bunch. If every time when I do this, I have to go like this, boom, then you're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this, knee up, about to here. That's when I start to flick the hips and extend.
Okay. So the angle of the camera right now makes it look like my kick is lower than yours, when in reality, my kick is actually, it's way above anyone's head humanly possible. So just realize it's a weird camera angle, and I can actually kick very high, and I'm extremely flexible and good looking.
Well, I did a little bit of tweaking beforehand to make sure that everything was like,
right.
I got to make myself look good on this.
It's only fair. It's only fair. Yeah.
So yeah, we're going here, and this looks like something that's not going to be practical at all. But in all actuality, if you can get like, I'm a believer that if you gave me like a manila envelope and you gave me like a year in the mountains to train with a manila envelope, I could cut you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no, I like the
if
analogy.
you get good at this kind of stuff, it's awesome. So what we're going to do after this, we're going to throw this outside crescent kick, land foot forwards. Then ideally, either I get somebody who stays here, sits back, and I can assess from there. So if they like bail big time, boom, and they go away. Right. You leave it at that. Okay, you're at a good distance. You can reassess from there. But if they don't and they sit on it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch and go this knee down into like a traditional single leg.
Okay.
So I'm going here, boom. Maybe I'll throw some hands, drop down, and then go.
All right. So it turns out that the kicking leg. So when you're here and the kicking leg that you're throwing, and they're staying in this stance, this for this one here. Yep. Then you're going to actually drop down on that one and shoot off of that.
Exactly.
Okay,
right.
Got it.
Yeah, so the idea is that, like, if I throw this, it does not look very dangerous. It doesn't. You don't see it very often. A lot of people's reaction to not seeing something very often is to freeze and, like, brace for impact.
Right.
Like, if I went like this and I did a big spinning thing, you see people all the time be like, whoa.
Sure.
So one of the cool benefits of something like this is, one, I can get that freeze, or two, I can actually draw hands down. I've gotten really good at like throwing hook kicks and drawing the guard down. Even if it's a brief moment, even if it's like a hole this big, going like this and going boom, trying to draw those hands away, throw an overhand, drop into a single leg, something like that.
Yeah.
So I can keep my hips a little more square. Boom, plant here. So I have the option to bail, back up, bang, whoop, do whatever I need to do, or here, and then for the sake of the drill, we're going to go overhand, drop to a single leg, and then drop.
Okay. So then we're here and
boom.
Overhand.
Yep.
And then you're stepping behind. Behind the overhand. Got it. Okay.
And then go.
Is that the right order then? So the rear leg after that kick here, which that was awful. Kick.
There you go.
Overhand here, and then I'm stepping through to pick up on the single, right?
Exactly.
Or it could,
And one of the main things you want to make sure you keep is this foot out here. So like I'm literally just switching stances, or actually I'm staying in the same stance, but putting this foot down here, not here.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming. Mine's coming like
open.
Mine's
really
almost like a deformed axe kick when I do it. So.
Then come on. Boom. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely should have stretched before this. Okay. So it kind of benefits you to go for more of a bladed stance because that way you don't have to track across the body so far.
You get a little more hip side to side movement if you start from here.
Okay.
Boom.
Right.
But the main thing is the hips have to go like this. Here.
Okay. So here.
Yep.
Here.
And then over.
And then the overhand's coming. And then in on the single.
Exactly.
Got it. Could you do a version this way?
Say it again? Yeah.
Can you do that this way?
Yep. So as I'm going here, boom, and then that's single leg. So if I'm going this way, boom, boom, and then shooting that single leg.
You know what I like about this, because this is what I'm picturing, a setup I show a lot just from hands is throwing that jab a couple times, and if the person is reacting by drawing in nice and tight and leaving a pocket here, sometimes that overhand can kind of corkscrew into the guard and pull that down, you know? And I tend, I've done this before, hanging on that arm, hanging and pulling that arm down farther and then stepping in on that single. So this is like perfectly in line with that, because instead of the jab or hook, you're just throwing that crescent, and that's drawing the guard up. Oh,
exactly. Actually, I remember what I was going to say too. One of the bigger problems that people will have to do with like mobility and flexibility, with their balance, whatever it is. You got to keep your shoulders a little bit further forwards when you're throwing this kick, because if I go like this, which is like a natural reaction, right? It's really hard to get this kick high with my body up and down. It's really easy to lift it like that. Right. You can't move forwards if your body's backwards. So what's going to be really hard for a lot of people is keeping the shoulders in the same spot and not going like this. And
that's definitely going to be harder.
Way back to way forwards. Yeah. Boom. Nice. Yes, that's perfect. Yep. Boom.
Okay.
Yep.
So here, I need to get. This is uncomfortable for me. Like.
Yeah, and you can start more bladed. It's just a matter of letting that foot go like this.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a thing to adjust to, because my general stance, I've done a lot more Muay Thai than I have Taekwondo. I started in Taekwondo when I was a kid, and I did for like 2 years, but it was like 100 years ago. So it's like this is really unnatural now, whereas this is a lot more natural.
Right.
So I think switching that without telegraphing it is going to be the challenge for me, and keeping my shoulders forward there.
And to be honest, you can go for more square here, because my kick is naturally toes up and down when I throw this crescent, which makes sense because your toes where you kick follow your hips. That's why we pivot out when we throw roundhouse kicks, because our toes are sideways.
Right.
And wherever this foot is, this foot matches it. Same thing for our crescent kick here. My foot's like this, my toes are up. So you can start off from square. It's just going to be a little bit harder to get those hips into it. Literally, I go close hips, kick, open hips.
Okay. So, and when you're throwing that crescent, when it's coming in the arc, are you on the ball of this foot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pushing off this foot too. So I'm like using as much momentum as I can to get this foot up. So I'm like sort of jumping a little bit and throwing.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like Van Damme versus Chung Lee Bloodsport, like round 2 kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So here.
Yep.
That one felt better, but it was a little more axy.
Well, axy is fine, especially when we want to pull that arm down. Being able to like go drop and sit it down. But the main thing is you have to make sure you're not here. If you can go sit down and still be able to drop this knee to the ground for the single leg.
Right. Okay. Here.
Bang. Yep. Like just to practice to drill out.
Right.
Just being here in whatever your stance is, like especially if it's more Muay Thai, and just picking this foot up over here, bringing this hip in, and then like literally going through the motion. Here, and just going one at a time, boom, and work on not moving anything. So instead of going, like taking any steps, boom, bang, going 0 to 100, boom, which takes time, obviously. There it is, yes. Think like knee, height, high and tight as much as you can, high, tight, and then flicking it up. And then as I start to flick it up, I open up the hips. Yep. That was the best one. Yes, that was perfect.
All right. Yeah.
But no, that's one of those entrances that I really like to try and use when I want to get takedowns on guys who know what takedown is coming.
Right.
Like if you're expecting me to like boom, boom, drop, then that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see it coming every time. But if you see like an outside crescent kick coming, you're gonna do two extremes, non-threatening or tornado drill. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I think that's the thing, because the reason I like it, the crescent, a lot of times just in sparring, and I just throw a sloppy one, just bam, just to smack somebody on the side of the face, because they're not expecting it, you know. And it doesn't have to be anything behind it, but it was there, and it's kind of coming up in a blind spot. It feels like if you do it right, kind of comes in a bit of a blind spot. So that can be really useful.
We want to draw a straight line behind the arm whenever we throw that. So like that knee coming up, most people watch here when you spar. So when the hips don't turn, there's no tell.
Right.
So being able to go like this is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Because if I go like this, usually it's a straight shot, right, with the teeth. But being able to pull that knee up and bring something in is huge. Yep. And the next step after that is working on moving, like gaining ground while doing it.
Shuffle. Right.
Like that's all I do to work on gaining ground.
Right.
Throwing my knee up and towards where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because it helps you like gain that balance, and then also understand that it's just about pulling your body while keeping shoulders forwards, good balance, stuff like that. I personally like it a lot too, because once you get used to it, you can move those hips forwards, keep your body in the same position, drop that foot, and then go back and not change like this.
Right.
And usually the reason that like this body comes back is so you can push the hips forwards. Well, since we want to go takedown, we want to kind of have the hips come back a little bit more.
Right, because we're shooting here.
Exactly right.
Yeah. No, I like that. That makes perfect sense to me. You know, you mentioned before when we were talking about some grappling stuff, having that in the tool belt and being able to kind of fit that into the modalities that you already kind of understand. That's going to be beneficial to me, you know, because it's like I have some of these pieces very disconnected from each other. So like the connections, like that's gold for me.
Dude, I'm happy to give it to you, man. Anytime. I'm all sweaty now here. You got me with the lights on. I had to go finesse.
Yeah, man, that's what we were talking about before this. It's like people don't understand until you're teaching to whatever degree on like a Zoom or a Skype kind of thing. It's just a different skill set. I mean, it's very different to stand in front of a classroom or even do a private lesson with somebody one-on-one and work some reps, and then to actually have to practice and talk and be engaging with the camera. That's a whole different thing. So guys, I hope that you got something out of this. I'm putting these things together, looking at these different ranges, how to close them, how to combine that long range striking into the intermediate range to the clinch range and the takedown. That's fantastic. So I got a lot out of this. I appreciate Seth showing me all this. So check out Sensei Seth on YouTube, on Instagram, all the socials. Look at Sensei Seth, go over to his channel. And it's really cool because he's got such a variety of videos talking with a variety of people and working on lots of different skill sets. He's a very open-minded guy, and I appreciate that as a martial artist to another martial artist. So yeah, check him out, guys. And of course, keep watching Night Jiu-Jitsu. Go to his channel, like, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff, and do the same thing for here.